Welcome back, it's me, Lou. I'm here for another action figure review. Okay, so today we are going to jump into the time machine and travel way back to 2014 as we take a look at this. This is Batman from the video game Arkham Asylum. So this figure was released multiple times. I purchased this figure about maybe a month ago. I bought it secondhand, so it was used. It was in really great shape, and I got it for like a super decent price. Alright, so this figure was part of the Arkham Asylum 4-pack put out by DC Collectibles. As I stated previously, this figure was released multiple times, and I think with every release there was a subtle difference, between each version. And I think the way you identify this version, which is the 4-pack version, is actually by his hands. One of the earlier versions of the figure, I believe one fist is closed. But this one kind of has a splayed out hand for his right hand, and then he has a C grip for his left hand. So this was produced by DC Collectibles, I think roughly about 8 years ago. The action figure engineering, it's a little bit dated by today's standards. But one of the things I really appreciate about this figure is that it's such a clean looking action figure. It's not overly embellished. All the details here are pretty accurate to the video game model, if you've ever played Arkham Asylum. And it's just really well done. The proportions are nice. The sculpting is pretty spot on. The color choice is excellent. And I think by the time this figure came out, I think the first version, I think it might have been gray and blue. And then this one's clearly gray and black. But I think with every time they re-released this figure, I think they made subtle improvements and changes to it. So the quality control seemed to improve, with every new release of this action figure. As you can see, it's really well done. For a figure that's roughly 8 years old, it still holds up pretty well. But like I said, the parts of this figure are really outdated, especially the way the articulation's engineered. So the reason why we're kind of looking at this action figure also is because there's the new McFarlane Batman figure coming out for Arkham City. So this figure represents Batman in Arkham Asylum, which was the first video game, and the upcoming McFarlane figure, which I'm supposed to receive any day this week right now from Amazon. That figure represents Arkham City. So if you've been collecting some of the McFarlane figures since the start, you'll remember that maybe like a year or two ago they gave us in the DC Multiverse Batman from Arkham Asylum, which this guy represents also. And they also gave us the Batman from Arkham Knight, which was the third game. So it's kind of weird that they gave us the first game, and then the last game, and now we're getting the middle game. I have the first McFarlane Arkham figure, Arkham Asylum Batman. It's a great looking figure, but the only problem I have with it is the head. There's something weird with the head. It's like the sculpting on the head's not right. But then again, if you've played the video game, you'll remember that there was something weird about the way Batman looked in the video game also. But it was a decent figure. I like it a lot. But, compared to the Arkham Knight version of Batman that McFarlane released a little bit later, that figure is amazing. It's probably like in my top 3 of McFarlane Batman figures. So, yeah, we're going to take a look at this figure today. I want to brush up on this figure just to kind of familiarize myself with the Arkham version of Batman before the new McFarlane one comes out. I'm really excited about the McFarlane one. Initially, I thought it was just going to be a re-release of the first figure with a couple of subtle changes, but the more I look at it, I think the figure might be like 90% all new pieces. I think it has a new head. It definitely has new gauntlets. The chest piece is new. I think the belt might be slightly resculpted as well. But from the photos I've seen, the upcoming Arkham City Batman looks amazing. And I really can't wait to get it hopefully this week. Alright, so with that being said, let's move on to this guy. This is DC Collectibles Batman from Arkham Asylum, the first game. you know, it's very clean. You know, I can't state that enough. There's something about the way this figure is presented that it just comes off really well. It's really well done. If you look, all the details are there. I think the McFarlane one takes it up a notch because I believe they have more texturing on the uniform compared to this one done by DC Collectibles. The color choice is really nice. I like the shade of gray and black. My only issue is I'm not sure if this is accurate to the video game, but his cowl here is a different color than his cape. His cape is clearly black, but his mask and cowl is kind of like a very dark gray. Likewise, the forearm guards, it's a slightly lighter shade of black than the cape. But overall, I think it's really well done. The articulation is very archaic. You know, DC Collectibles, they produced such excellent action figures, but the articulation always left a lot to be desired. Like this guy's head rotates. Does it look down? Not too much. It kind of rocks a little, which is nice. The points here, pretty sharp, as are these. They're made of a stiffer plastic. His arms rotate up, but then it's going to hit the cape up here. They do go out, but the joint's kind of tight, and I feel like if I forced it any further, I might break it. Unfortunately, there is no bicep cut. As you can also see, it's only a single pinned elbow. So it just goes up. I believe there's a swivel at the upper forearm near the elbow, so you can rotate it there, but there is no articulation at the wrist, so it's a little bit kind of backwards. You know, I think most people would probably prefer rotating at the wrist than at the forearm. Surprisingly, there is no waist swivel either. Like I said, this figure is like 8 years old, and I think for DC Collectibles, they weren't so much about the articulation. I think they're more so about just the overall presentation and appearance of the figure. So yeah, no waist swivel. His legs kick forward, very tight though, and this is as far as it'll go comfortably. It could go higher, but every time I move it up higher, it just keeps on getting tighter and tighter. So I don't want the joint to get too loose. His knees bend, as you can see, single jointed knee. Again, it's very tight. I don't want to risk breaking it, because one thing with DC Collectibles and also DC Direct, as beautiful as their figures were, I think the quality control wasn't the greatest. For like some of my DC Collectible figures, I remember like either like the ankles breaking or the joints at the knees. They just weren't made to be handled like that. You know, these were really meant to be more so display pieces. His boots swivel, so he has a boot cut, and no ankle articulation. In terms of this guy's height, he stands in at about almost 7 inches without the horns. Just for scale, here's a McFarlane designed Batman from the DC Multiverse line, and it'll give you an idea of the size difference. Much smaller figure. I believe the McFarlane figures are, I think, 1/10 scale. I might be wrong on that though. And just for the hell of it, here's a Diamond Select action figure. This is the Alfred Pennyworth figure from the Fox Gotham series, and he scales all right, but his head's like gigantic. So the cool thing with this Batman is that he comes with a couple of accessories. He comes with this really giant grapple gun, which is from the video game, and I think it's meant to be held in, which hand is it? I think it's this hand. No, I think it's this hand. The weird hand over here. I think it's supposed to be held in this one. Doesn't hold it really all that well though. And then he comes with, I like this a lot. He comes with a Batarang. which is nice. You know, it's very standard for Batman to come with a Batarang, but the nice thing with this one is that it actually folds. So this, I think that's one of the cool things. Like, we get so many Batarangs from different companies, like from Mattel and McFarlane, but the DC Collectible ones, it actually folds. It's awesome. It's actually functional. So that's really neat, you know. It kind of reminds me of, if you've ever seen the movie Beastmaster, and there's the main character, Dar. He kind of has that throwing star, which kind of unfolds like this. So this is awesome. This is also really sharp too. So yeah, that's pretty much Batman from DC Collectibles from the video game Arkham Asylum. Like I said, this is not the McFarlane figure. The McFarlane figure is coming out. I think the release date for, at least for Amazon, was October 1st. Today's October 3rd. And I'm supposed to receive the figure sometime this week. You know, fingers crossed. You know, I've had issues with Amazon before where they canceled my orders at the last minute. So hopefully I'll get the figure. I remember placing the pre-order like right when it opened. So, you know, I'm really hoping I get it. And I'm excited for it. Like, I was kind of disappointed with the McFarlane Arkham Asylum figure. I don't think it looked at it. It was more detailed than this one, but I think the overall presentation, it was a little bit messier. And I know the head sculpt was just kind of horrid on it. I didn't really like the face on that. And I think with the upcoming Arkham City figure that McFarlane's doing, I think that figure, I think they made a lot of improvements over the first release. You know, I think for this one, his pupils are whited out. I think the shade of black and gray they're using is really much more pronounced with more contrast, and it looks really awesome. So, you know, fingers crossed. You know, hopefully I'll get that figure this week, and hopefully I'll have a review up for you to check out, you know, really, really soon. So before we wrap this up, let's just do one quick pass at this. The DC Collectibles Arkham Asylum Batman. Released in 2014, he was part of a 4-pack that also included the Joker, Harley Quinn in her nurse's outfit, and the Scarecrow. This is a beautiful figure. I love the emblem. The sculpting's well done. The face is really clean. The proportions really capture, you know, the physical build of the character in the video game. I think the only thing that's really kind of missing is like the micro texturing on his uniform. And I think that's where McFarlane excels. I believe their version of the figure kind of has all the like micro pattern and micro texture like where it should be on the costume. But overall, I'm really happy with this version. I do wish I had the first version that came out, the blue and the gray one. But, you know, for me, there's something that's really cool about having this figure. I like the color scheme a lot. The DC Arkham figures, or the DC Collectibles figures from the 3 video games, they go for a lot of money on the secondary market. You know, seeing as how a lot of them came out, you know, roughly anywhere between 8 to maybe like 5 years ago. I know the Harley Quinn goes for a lot of money. This guy, I think he's roughly maybe anywhere between $30 to $40 for the solo release, I think. The Scarecrow figure is really well done. There's a 2-pack that has Bane, I think, from Arkham Knight. And that comes with a Batman figure. And that, I think it's from Arkham. It might be from Arkham Knight or maybe Asylum. I can't remember. But it's a 2-pack. And the Bane in that 2-pack is friggin' insane. It's gigantic. It's so super detailed. But much like, you know, the other figures, you know, on the secondary market, the prices are just astronomical. So yeah, this is a great figure. Do I recommend it? It depends. I'd say if you're a purist and you wanted the like first release from the actual era of when the video game came out, I think it's a cool purchase. And don't forget that Mattel also has their own interpretations of this character. But for the most part, I'd say if you don't have any of the Arkham Batman figures, the 2 I recommend the most are the Arkham Knight Batman by McFarlane for DC Multiverse and the upcoming Arkham City. The Arkham Asylum by McFarlane is alright, but seeing as how Arkham City Batman's closely resembles the first version but improved, you're probably better off getting that. Alright, so let's wrap this one up. Once again, my name is Lou. If you're new to my channel, welcome. If you're a returning viewer or subscriber, thank you so much for your continued support. I greatly appreciate it. So until the next video, be safe, take care of yourself, buy lots of toys, and most importantly, be happy. And I'll see you at the next one. All right, later.